There is a certain harshness in how the universe treats those who refuse to accept anything less than the truth. You've likely felt it, the subtle ache when everyone around you seems to find love effortlessly, while you remain suspended between longing and discernment. This is not a form of punishment, it is preparation. What you are about to understand will reveal why some souls experience what feels like a cosmic delay, why love seems to elude those who need it most deeply, and how this apparent withholding serves a purpose far greater than mere comfort. The universe does not deny rare souls love. It refines them, shaping them into worthy vessels capable of experiencing connections that transcend ordinary human relationships. Jung recognized that some individuals inherently resist the superficial, carrying a deep, almost cellular reluctance to engage in relationships that simply occupy space instead of expanding consciousness. These souls cannot feign contentment where it doesn't exist, nor can they force connection through sheer will, nor convince themselves that partial understanding equates to genuine companionship. They are bound to authenticity, guided by standards that often feel more restrictive than freeing. Before these souls can encounter their counterpart, they must pass through what seem like a series of cosmic challenges. These are not random obstacles imposed by a harsh universe, but essential experiences that remove all that is false, borrowed, or obstructive, anything that keeps the soul from recognizing its true mirror when it finally appears. Each trial uncovers what still requires healing, what patterns need to be broken, and what illusions continue to cloud their inner clarity. The first stage of initiation often arrives as a form of unbearable solitude, not the voluntary kind chosen for reflection or retreat, but the isolation imposed when every option feels empty. When every potential connection communicates in a language your soul cannot interpret, you find yourself amidst people, yet fundamentally alone. You watch others form bonds that seem effortless, while you remain unable to resonate on that same frequency. This solitude is not a sign of inadequacy, rather it reflects your uniqueness. Jung might describe it as a necessary separation from the collective unconscious, a painful but essential process of distinguishing what truly belongs to you from what has been inherited through family, culture, or circumstance. Rare individuals must learn to separate authentic desires from conditioned expectations, and genuine attraction from the gravitational pull of familiar dysfunction. The universe maintains this solitude until you cease attempting to compress your expansive nature into relationships meant for smaller ambitions. During this time, you may notice how others seem to navigate love with ease, how they meet, merge, and move forward without the existential weight that colors every consideration of yours. You may start to question if something is fundamentally off in your wiring. Your struggle to feel content with available options might feel like a flaw rather than a strength. During these moments of doubt, the universe offers no answers. It neither confirms nor denies your fears. Instead, it provides a space for you to discern the difference between being difficult and being discerning. This period teaches that loneliness and solitude are not the same. Loneliness is the longing for connection, while solitude is the opportunity to deepen your relationship with yourself. Exceptional individuals must learn to inhabit their solitude without desperation. This time should not serve as a waiting room, but as a laboratory for self-discovery. The universe observes whether you will uphold your standards or compromise them out of fear, that maintaining them means staying alone indefinitely. As you move through this phase, you start to realize that your solitude serves a purpose. It works as a filter, ensuring that when connection finally arrives, it stems from genuine understanding rather than a need to escape loneliness. Those who hastily try to fill the void often end up in relationships that mirror the very isolation they were avoiding, with partners who cannot truly see them, meet them, or resonate with the depth of their authentic selves. The next challenge appears more subtly, often disguised as exactly what you have been seeking. Someone enters your carefully maintained solitude, appearing to understand your perspective, recognizing your depth, and stirring every longing you have been guarding. This person seems to possess an almost uncanny ability to bypass your defenses, to speak to your most protected hopes, and to make you feel simultaneously vulnerable and secure. Jung would describe this person as a manifestation of your anima or animus, the unconscious, projection of your idealized masculine or feminine qualities onto someone else. This person does not truly love you. Rather, they are drawn to what you represent in relation to their own unconscious desires. In the same way, the affection you feel for them is often a reflection of the parts of yourself that they mirror back to you. The connection may seem destined, inevitable, or cosmically aligned, yet within it lies the potential for its own unraveling. This dynamic serves as a test, revealing whether you can differentiate between genuine intimacy and psychological projection, between being truly seen and being idealized, and between authentic love and the temporary comfort of old wounds addressed through another person's attention. The person who enters your life during this stage often carries an almost mystical presence, appearing to understand you in ways that feel extraordinary after long periods of disconnection. They may share your interests, reflect your values, or exhibit qualities that complement your personality so well that the relationship feels destined rather than chosen. The appeal of this connection lies not in its intensity, but in its apparent suitability. Unlike clearly problematic relationships, this individual seems genuinely compatible, sincerely caring, and truly interested in understanding who you are beneath your protective layers. The risk is not that they intend to hurt you, but that their love may be partial, appreciating only the aspects of your character that fulfill their own psychological needs, while overlooking the full scope of who you are. Life presents this challenge to test whether you have developed the ability to recognize love that comes with conditions, appreciation that hinges on your ability to stay within certain boundaries, acceptance that asks you to downplay the inconvenient parts of your truth. Someone might value your sensitivity, but shy away from your intensity, admire your depth, but feel uneasy with your complexity, or cherish your uniqueness, yet expect you to adjust it when it becomes inconvenient. If you accept this kind of partial love, convince yourself that being understood in fragments is enough, or modify your expression to preserve the connection. The universe does not punish you. Instead, it allows you to experience the gradual erosion of self that occurs in any relationship where your completeness challenges the other person's comfort. Through this experience, you see why settling can feel like a form of spiritual compromise. Why compromising core elements of your being produces a relationship that resembles elaborate loneliness, more than genuine partnership. The third initiation is often the most difficult because it asks you to identify and overcome the ways you undermine your own happiness. When someone genuinely compatible begins to enter your life, or when the universe positions you to receive what you have been seeking, your psychological defenses can activate with unexpected strength. Suddenly, you notice reasons why this person might not be the right fit. You may perceive the timing as off, or fear that allowing yourself to hope will only lead to greater disappointment. Jung recognized that the psyche frequently resists exactly what it most requires, especially when fulfilling that need could disturb familiar patterns of self-protection. If you have grown accustomed to solitude, shaped your identity around feeling misunderstood, or structured your life around the belief that true partnership is unattainable, then the arrival of genuine possibility can feel more intimidating than its absence. During this phase, you may notice yourself naturally distancing from people, situations, and habits that once defined your identity. Conversations that used to energize you may start to feel tiring. Spaces that once felt comforting may begin to feel restrictive. Activities that once brought joy may now seem hollow. This is not depression. It is realignment. Your inner compass is adjusting, guiding you toward what genuinely supports your growth rather than what simply reinforces familiar patterns. The universe is observing whether you can trust this process of natural selection, whether you can let relationships and circumstances drift away without holding on, and whether you can uphold your integrity even if it means standing alone. This period tests your ability to choose authenticity over approval, truth over comfort, and alignment over security. It highlights whether you are ready to become someone capable of meaningful connection, or if you prefer the safe terrain of noble solitude. As you move through this recalibration, you begin to radiate a new kind of energy. People start reacting to you differently. Opportunities appear that were once out of reach. Your entire reality begins to adjust, aligning with your evolved vibrational frequency. The universe has not changed what it offers. Rather, your ability to recognize and receive what has always been present has shifted. The ultimate test before entering a true partnership is the willingness to let go of what you have been seeking. This paradox challenges many exceptional individuals. The universe requires that you stop actively searching for love before it can flow to you. You must release your attachment to partnership for it to become possible. True union with another can only occur once you have found completeness within yourself. This act of surrender is not about giving up. It is about achieving wholeness. Jung recognized that individuation brings a state where you no longer depend on someone else for completion. Instead, you seek a person with whom you can share your already complete self. This transition, from need to desire, from searching to offering, from holding on to allowing, marks the final stage of readiness for a soul-level partnership. When you reach this state, you stop scanning every room for potential partners. You stop analyzing every interaction for signs of romance. You stop defining your value by your relationship status. Instead, you begin living as if you are already whole, already loved, and exactly where you are meant to be. This is not denial or spiritual avoidance, but the natural outcome of having absorbed the lessons that previous challenges were meant to teach. The universe takes note of this final surrender because it signals your readiness to love without dependency, to connect without losing yourself, and to give without exhausting your energy. Only when you no longer rely on love can you fully receive it. Only when you stop searching can you recognize what has been seeking you all along. Only when you fully embrace who you are can you attract someone capable of loving the real you. This state of being generates a magnetic energy that draws toward you not just anyone looking for a partner, but someone who operates on a similar level of completeness. Someone who has gone through their own journey of growth and transformation. Someone who meets you at the depth you require. The universe doesn't send someone to fix your wounds, but to honor your healing. Not to fill the gaps in your life, but to appreciate your completeness. When this person enters your life, recognition is immediate and undeniable. There's no need to force compatibility, overlook red flags, or compromise your standards. The connection feels effortless rather than forced, calm rather than chaotic, and expansive rather than restrictive. You meet each other not as strangers learning about one another, but as familiar souls encountering one another in physical form. This recognition is not marked by projection or intensity, but by the quiet certainty of truth. There's no clinging, fear of loss, or desire to control, only mutual presence and respect. Both of you understand that what you have discovered together exists independently of external circumstances. Your bond goes beyond the temporary dynamics of typical human relationships, allowing you to love each other fully while remaining entirely yourselves. True partnership for rare individuals often does not arrive with the dramatic intensity seen in connections based on projection. Instead of fireworks, there is mutual recognition. Instead of obsession, there is calm. Rather than needing to prove compatibility, you share an inherent understanding that you communicate on the deepest level. You can be entirely authentic without worrying that your true self will push the other away, and without needing to constantly gauge or modify your behavior. Jung would describe this as the union of two individuated souls, people who have done enough inner psychological work to engage in a relationship without losing their sense of self, without expecting the other to meet unresolved childhood needs, and without projecting unconscious material onto one another. This type of partnership encourages the ongoing growth of both individuals, rather than halting their development for the sake of security or comfort. The universe, which once seemed to withhold love, now reveals its wisdom. Every challenge was essential preparation. Every delay arrived at the perfect time. Every disappointment shielded you from settling for anything less than what your soul could recognize as true home. You come to understand that you were not being punished, but refined. Not denied, but prepared. Not overlooked, but carefully nurtured for this exact moment of clarity. Those rare souls who experience genuine partnership discover that love does not diminish their individuality. It enhances it. It does not require them to shrink, but encourages them to expand. It does not ask them to compromise their truth, but honors the courage they show in living it. They find someone who not only accepts their depth, but matches it, who does not merely tolerate their intensity, but amplifies it, who understands their complexity and appreciates its beauty. Relationships built on this foundation operate under different principles than those based on need, habit, or social expectation. Both people remain complete individuals, choosing at each moment to share their wholeness with one another. There is space for solitude within the partnership, room for individual growth alongside shared evolution, and the capacity for disagreement without threatening the bond's core. This kind of connection becomes a sanctuary where both souls can continue becoming more themselves, rather than a cage where they must pretend to be someone more acceptable. The love shared between them supports their highest evolution instead of their deepest fears, encourages authentic expression rather than defensive strategies, and nourishes individual purpose rather than merging into an identity that serves neither. If you see yourself in this journey, if you have faced the trials of solitude, projection, self-sabotage, recalibration, and surrender, you understand why the universe required such preparation. You are being readied not for ordinary love, but for an extraordinary partnership. Not for a conventional relationship, but for a conscious union. Not for someone to complete you, but for someone to honor and celebrate your completeness. The journey has been longer than you hoped, more demanding than you anticipated, and more transformative than you ever imagined. Yet each step has served a purpose, to ensure that when love arrives, you can recognize it, embrace it, and offer it from a place of strength rather than need, completeness rather than emptiness, and choice rather than desperation. The universe has not overlooked you. It has been preparing you for exactly what your soul has been longing for. Take a moment to reflect on your personal journey, on the challenges you've faced, the lessons you've learned, and the growth achieved even when progress seemed invisible. Notice how each obstacle has strengthened your capacity for authentic connection, how each disappointment has sharpened your ability to discern genuine relationships, and how periods of solitude have deepened your relationship with yourself, your commitment to this process, your trust in timing even when it felt uncertain, and your persistence in upholding your standards when lowering them would have been easier, demonstrates the exceptional courage required for a soul-level partnership. You have been preparing not merely to find love, but to be worthy of a love that fully sees you, meets you, and aligns with every dimension of your being. If this resonates with your experience, and you recognize your own journey in these words, I encourage you to share your thoughts in the comments below. What challenges have you faced along the way? What insights have you gained about yourself through these experiences? How has this journey shaped your readiness for the love you seek? Your reflections could provide guidance for someone else navigating a similar path. And if you found value in this discussion, consider subscribing for more content on the deeper aspects of love, relationships, and the transformative journey of fully becoming yourself.